We've already discussed the vehicles available to Soviets. Now it's time to go across the pond and see what the USA has to offer, starting from the very bottom, as usual. Apart from the cookie-cutter Rank 1 light tanks, like the M2 and M3, there are actually quite a few unusual picks almost right from the get-go. This is the first multi-turreted M3 Lee, carrying a combination of a 75mm cannon and a 37mm gun. The second interesting vehicle is the M3 GMC. Despite its name, the machine has nothing to do with General Lee. It's not even a tank, it's a half-track tank destroyer. It's blessed with a fantastic 75mm gun that can penetrate anything at its BR. Next to no armor, though. We also can't leave the first rank without at least mentioning the M13 MGMC, the American SPAAG that is outfitted with a dual-mounted 12.7mm machine gun that makes short work of any aerial target, and also many targets on the ground, at least when firing at their sides. Rank number 2. That's what it's all about. Behold, here come the mighty Shermans, the icon of the American armor. There is also the great M10, the first American SPG that comes with a full-fledged turret. SPAAGs of this rank aren't as blessed, though. Remember the M13 MGMC? Strap a couple more machine guns on it and... wait. That's it? Yep, you can still wreck enemy aircraft all right, but tanks are a no-no now. Despite the lackluster performance of the American SPAAGs, this is still the rank that most of us will always be very fond of. Oh, Shermans, you beautiful beasts, you. Okay, we climb even higher and reach the third era. That's where the first heavies come into play. The M6A1, the M3A3E2, and the iconic Sherman Jumbo. Ordinary Shermans get even tougher as well. They're better protected, and the M4A1 76W and the M4A2 76W versions have new turrets and sport new shiny M1 cannons. Majestic! Here's the biggest star of Rank 3, though. The great gun motor carriage M18. What's not to love? It can go at 72 kph and comes with a 76mm gun that penetrates up to 221mm of armor. Unsurprisingly, there is no armor to speak of, but who cares? With this gun and mobility. There are a few notable premiums as well. A well-rounded T-20 medium tank, a special version of the M4A3E2 Jumbo called the Cobra King, and the American take on the Katyusha formula, the rocket launcher T-34 Calliope, built using the base model of the M4 Sherman. SPAAGs are still the weak point of the roster. The M15A1 has a 37mm gun which, let's say, isn't going to win any awards competing with anti-air vehicles of other nations, while losing 2 machine guns. Ouch. All in all, one of the nicest vehicles of the Rank 3 is the legendary Sherman Jumbo. It's true that its gun can have difficulties facing the most well-armored targets at its BR, but the Jumbo is a hell of a tough cookie itself. By the way, we made a video on different ways you can defeat the Jumbo some time ago. Check it out. Rank 4. Can you feel the wind of change blowing across the battlefield? The last Shermans, the M4A3 and the M4A3E2, give way to the vehicles of the next generation. We see the T-25, the M26 Pershing, as well as its older brother, T-26E1, the Super Pershing. And then there is the monster that goes by the name of T-34. There are also 3 light vehicles to choose from. the M41A1, also called the Walker Bulldog, the M56, and T92. AA warfare enthusiasts get the M19 armed with a dual-mounted Bofors 40mm gun system. And the M36 tank destroyer is... wait. What? Looks like the days of the M18 style racing are gone, as it can't go faster than 42 kph. It more than makes up for it with a substantial firepower upgrade. The 90mm M3 gun that penetrates up to 264mm of armor allows you to wreck even the most well-protected opponents. If you're into premiums, well, you're in for some good time. There are 6 interesting vehicles to choose from. Medium, heavy, tank destroyer, you name it. Even a tank equipped with rocket pods. The M26E1, the M26 T99, the beefy T29, and also the M46 Tiger, the T28, and the Super Hellcat. Enough to make a lineup out of them alone. The main thing of the Fourth Era is gradually ditching armor in favor of the more powerful guns with faster reload rates. The only notable exceptions are the T-34 and the T-29 with their fantastic turret protection. After the revolutionary Fourth Era, Rank 5 is kind of a logical follow-up. Pershings give way to Pattons. The M46, the M47, the M48, and the great M60. Fans of heavier vehicles get the T-32 and the monstrous M103. The T-95 tank destroyer certainly takes time to get used to. Great armor, an amazing gun, and the speed of 12.8 kph. No turret either. Oh, the spirit of the M18, why have you abandoned us? SPAAGs are also rather challenging to play. The M42, armed with the familiar Bofors gun system, just can't really take on most ground targets. Do not despair, though. First, most vehicles in the roster get access to HEAT rounds, which is always a plus. There are also 3 excellent premiums, the Magach 3, the T-114, and the XM1, which deserves a special mention. This is basically the early Abrams, with quite a BR as well, 9.0. Rank 6 at last. Say hi to the M60 and let's take a look at its heavier comrades. The T-95E1 is okay, but nothing to write home about. The tanks that come after it, though, the XM803 and the MBT-70 prototypes are fast, well-protected, and armed with excellent 152mm guns. Ammo selection? For the most refined of tastes, HEAT, APFSDS, even ATGM. Then there is the M1 Abrams, a vehicle immediately standing out even in a roster like this. One of the best tanks at its BR. Yeah, it has no ATGMs. So what? With its mobility, protection, and gun, you really don't need missiles to rule the field. Keep in mind that the Americans have no pure-blood tank destroyers at this rank, or ATGM vehicles for that matter. What you get instead are the M60A2 Starship and the M551 Sheridan, a light tank armed with an M81 gun launcher. When it comes to SPAAGs, at the 6th era there are only 2. The first is the M163 Vulcan. Its 20mm cannon has no difficulty chewing through anything flying by, but tanks will prove to be very tough targets indeed. The second is the M247. It's not just a new chassis. You also get 2 40mm Bofors instead of the single 20mm one of the M163 VADS. But still nothing to write home about when it comes to fighting other ground vehicles. Yeah, it's a noticeable upgrade when it comes to penetration. Bofors pierce 76mm of armor instead of 40mm, but the size of the vehicle and its somewhat limited mobility complicate things a lot. At the same time, the M247 literally shreds through enemy aircraft and helicopters. A great fire rate, good ballistics, and sheer firepower of your 50mm guns will bring anyone crashing down from the skies in no time whatsoever. All in all, at rank 6, you get access to 3 amazing MBTs, but the tree is somewhat lacking in the tank destroyer department. And that's it. What American vehicles do you like? Tell us in the comments below, and see you in battle.